Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. This is going to be a review of a Remington Model 870 pump action shotgun. I know, it's a pretty plain Jane vanilla gun. However, I have liked these guns for a long time. I've always enjoyed the way they looked, and so I guess it's taken me a few decades to purchase one. I've never owned a Remington 870, but the one I bought, seeing as how much I like turkey hunting these days, is a 20 gauge youth model. And I'm not sure if they call it their youth model or a compact, but it's got a shortened length of pull, so the buttstock is shorter, and a 22-inch barrel. Now, I've always liked these guns because I've liked the way that the magazine ends at the pump. I just thought it gave it the 870 a really cool look. Just looks good. And this model is no exception. It's got really nice looking wood. I enjoy the matte blued finish that it has. It has a steel receiver, so it has a little bit of weight to it. I used this all of spring of 2023 for turkey hunting, except for in Delaware when I needed to use the Winchester SXP. Seeing as how this Remington specs out the same as this Mossberg, shorter buttstock, 22-inch barrel, I think a little bit of comparing would be in order. So overall, the trigger is in the same spot right here. The overall length, the Mossberg is a 1/4 inch longer overall at the barrel. As you can see right here, the difference where the pump action is relative to the receiver, it's longer on the Remington than it is here because this is the youth bantam, and this pump is designed to be shorter for a smaller statured person. So that's a design specific to this model of Mossberg 500. The weight difference between these two is the Mossy goes with this little pouch on the back, the sights, the choke, and that little mount for my camera. This goes 6 pounds 1 ounce, just like this. This gun, just like this, with the sights and the choke tube added, 6 pounds 8 ounce. So that's only a 7 ounce difference, and that 7 ounce difference is really going to be in the receiver, because the Mossy has an aluminum receiver and the Remy here has a steel receiver. Now the steel receiver of this Remington here, with sweaty hands carrying it around all day, it would start to get rusty, so it would start to develop that surface rust brown patina, and so I would just use a rag with WD-40 on it, wipe it down at the end of the day, hit the steel on the barrel, get the pump back, work this part of the mag tube, and just do that for your basic day-to-day maintenance. Just a quick wipe down from the dew in the mornings, maybe just leaning it against a tree, heavy fog that sometimes occurs, especially in the southeast. And the balance, even though this gun's a little heavier, it balances really well to carry, just like this little Mossberg. So this Mossberg, if I put where the receiver meets the barrel kind of in the middle of my palm, it kind of balances right there. And if I do the same thing with the Remy, it's actually, if anything, a touch heavy on the backside, which is perfectly fine because you just carry it around like this all day and it's really well balanced. And I had to carry it around like that for a long time until I came up with a solution with zip ties and electrical tape on my sling on the wrist of the buttstock, because right here, if you can see that, the sling swivel broke that I installed. I installed it. It was a cheap, crappy sling swivel, and I really had to crank to tighten it down to get it perpendicular to the buttstock. So when I think I did that, I think I kind of torqued it, because day one in Florida, boom, it just popped right off. So I got a chunk of metal screw stuck in here and I can't get it out. I tried to use my reverse tap and die set and I can't get it to back out, so it may just be in there for life and I'll have to relocate a different one. Alright, so I guess the last thing I want to talk about here in the garage, aka my studio, the garage, is the trigger pull. So let's clear these guys again. And And let's compare the trigger pull between the 500 and the 870. The 870's trigger pull feels really good, so I'm interested to see what it actually specs out at. So let's do the Mossy first. Now, if you recall, when I did a review on this Mossy, I did a spring kit from M Carbo in this and dropped a pound off of it, so it was about a pound heavier than what it is right now. And I did have some people in the comments, or at least one person in the comments, say it's not worth $20 to reduce your trigger pull by only 1 pound. Really? 20 bucks to reduce your trigger pull 1 pound? I'd pay 60 to reduce it 2 pounds. So maybe it's a matter of perspective. If you go from a 6 pound pull to a 5 pound pull for only 20 bucks, that's pretty good. So anyway, side rant. Anyway, let's check the Mossy here. Right at 5 pounds, if you can see that there. Now the Remy. Four and 3/4. I knew it felt pretty good. So this is one of the best out of the box triggers I've ever felt on a shotgun, period. Especially one in this price point, you know, 870s, 500s, Winchester SXPs, they're all kind of your baseline shotgun at being pump action models. But it is a really nice trigger. It feels good. The only thing I wish, I guess, that would be better about the trigger is it's narrow. It's a narrow trigger, so a narrow trigger makes a trigger pull feel heavier because it's such a smaller, you got such less contact area with your finger, whereas this Mossy trigger is probably 50%, 60% wider than this Remington trigger. And it's noticeable, but like I said, the trigger pull is nice on this. I knew it was nice. I just didn't realize it was going to be 4 3/4 nice. So the last thing to check is I'm going to have to, as much as I don't want to, take these sights off and shoot it for the bead, because I never did that. It's got a really nice bead up front, real nice bead. It's a nice big bold bead. There's no mid-rib bead, so it's just that bad boy. So we'll have to test this out and see how it shoots to point of aim versus point of impact. Now if it's anything like any of the other Remington shotguns I've shot, like a Sportsman 58, a 1100, and a 3.5 inch 870 that Phil used to own, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it, because those all seem to shoot right to the bead, which is something in my mind I think Remington does a good job with based on my past experience. So we'll head to the mountains and test this out. Alright, so we're up in the mountains here. We got motorcycles and hikers and cows. I've never seen cows here. I've never seen hikers here, but here we go. Here we go. Some more UTVs and junk. I don't know if I'm ever going to get this done. Attempt number 3. You can hear the ATVs in the background. I've now had hikers and 2 sets of ATVs go by. But we got 2 targets out at 27 yards. It's so distracting, because I'm just waiting for another one to pop up here or back here. And 2 different turkey loads. The old Federal red box number 5 and the Remington Nitro number 5. 27 yards, put 1 shot on each. See how it hits in relation to the bead. Point of aim, point of impact test. So here's our results here. We got the Remington Nitro on the right. Looks like the center of the pattern's about right there. And we've got the old Federal over here. Looks like the center of the pattern's about here. So if anything, it might shoot a touch low right. I could have buried the bead a little too far down into the rib to make it shoot a little low. But when I said I think I might have buried the bead too low, it got me to thinking I need to do it again. So I did it again. I did not bury the bead deep down, and I could tell from back there, but again with the nitro turkey, that's very well centered. I may have not buried the bead quite enough for a perfect center hit on this target, but that'll do. And this is about centered on this target. I gotta say, I do like that shotgun a lot. So I think I'm gonna send it off to get Cerakoted and get that rust prevention issue or the rusting issue taken care of. Put those sights back on and dial it in for TSS. It's got such a good trigger out of the box. Handles good, feels good, it's well balanced, looks good. So, and I think I'm gonna go with green on that Cerakote. Green Cerakote wood stock. My perception or my experience to this point with multiple Remingtons now, this one and 3 Remingtons I've patterned that are fills. We've patterned them at his house. We patterned one of them out here before. They shoot to the bead and wrap the bead up when you put it out there. You run that bead and make the rib basically flat to where you don't see the rib, you just see the bead, and they shoot there. So I gotta say, I fully would recommend that Remington 870, and just on my experience, any of the Remington models have shot good for me. So, and I'm talking an 1100, a Sportsman 58, which is pretty old school, getting pretty old, and Remington model 11, that's even more old school, that shoots really good. And there was a 3.5 inch pump 870 12 gauge that Phil used to have. So that's actually about 5 Remingtons now that have shot to the bead. I would definitely recommend the Remington. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down there, and as always, thanks for watching.